Hello, my name is Matt Henninger, and I'm the VP of Business Development and Sales at Moises.ai. Thank you all so much for joining me today to discuss AI technologies in the music ecosystem. I'd like to start out by thanking Henrique and the entire team at MusicBiz for facilitating this discussion. As he may have mentioned, due to some unforeseen circumstances, I wasn't able to deliver this presentation live as intended, so we went ahead and recorded it earlier this week. Thank you for your patience and understanding in that. I really hope that you find the information helpful in both your understanding of Moises and how we see AI impacting the music community. To begin, we're here to discuss music AI and how it's democratizing tools for both creators and service providers, and how we at Moises believe music AI can be additive to the industry from both a user experience and revenue perspective. AI and its adoption in the music industry is seemingly both revolutionary and evolutionary. It has the potential to inspire and empower creators while also having the capacity to flood the ecosystem with new works, both with and without human intervention. What I'm hoping to cover today is how, with the right approach and focus on creator tools, AI can help and bolster both creativity and engagement, all the while supporting artists, labels, producers, and users alike. As of today, we're seeing AI tools being used directly by artists, producers, individual users, and service providers in ways that previously would have been limited to expensive studios and audio editing suites. Content is being created and engaged with by a new, much larger segment of the consumer population that previously wasn't exposed to its potential. The concept of tools for creators is seemingly primarily for the creation of music, but I'd suggest there is also the capability of quality assurance and other functionalities that can be used by companies confirming things like lyrics, tablature, and notation. These tools can then also allow service providers to charge higher fees for new functionality, which results in copyright owners and creators potentially getting paid on those higher revenues. Imagine, for example, an indie artist has not published, nor has the ability to create a tablature, but a tool can generate that tablature and can then be sold as a one off or as part of a subscription. Or imagine a user of an on demand subscription service that is trying to learn a different guitar part from their favorite artist. With the application of the proper tools, that user could isolate or raise the volume of that guitar track or mute it altogether to play along with their favorite musicians in that band. Now, add in the possibilities of scale achieved by AI, and this functionality can be spread across large catalogs, a concept which previously would have been too time consuming or expensive to launch and deliver. At Moises, the company is ideating how to allow certain functionality in a way that is beneficial to artists and rights holders. We are also engaged in ongoing discussions with both service providers and rights holders about how to design and make available certain functionalities. As mentioned, Moises is a company of over 60 people dedicated to empowering the creative potential of musicians. Moises has developed and released into the stream of commerce a powerful software tool that simplifies the lives of music creators. While there are also tools in the marketplace that have allowed this of work for years or decades, Moises has democratized the marketplace for audio engineering, STEM creation, and other tools through the introduction of an AI-powered, cost-efficient product. Our leadership team, shown here, consists of executives with backgrounds in AI, mobile development, education technology, software, and digital music. In addition, we've partnered with seasoned music industry consultant Bill Campbell of Barefoot Media and are fortunate to have Gary Greenstein of Wilson Sonsini, Goodrich, and Rosati as outside counsel. To introduce myself, I have 17 plus years of experience running BD and sales organizations in the digital music space, starting with All Media Guide, AMG, back in 2006 through its acquisition by Rovi. From there, I was VP of Sales and Business Development at MediaNet through its initial acquisition by SOCAN, running business development for their PRO services group, DataClub. Next, I helped facilitate the acquisition of MediaNet by Audible Magic, where I headed up sales and BD in the Americas before joining the Moises team here this past September. Additionally, I was a professional bassist in the greater Detroit area for 20 plus years, playing up to 200 gigs a year and touring nationally with two groups. I've released records under both my own name as well as contributing to many other artists. So performing and being in the music community is really in my DNA. Over my career, I've helped launch and support over 300 music services through multiple evolutions of the music industry, while also working to support rights holders. What excites me so much about this current evolution is that it has the opportunity to impact artists and services alike, and that the benefits are only beginning to be uncovered. So, what's at the heart of this massive expansion and proliferation of new technology? In my opinion, is the availability of open source research and papers that are iterative and expanding. The knowledge base of data scientists around the world for all types of music information retrieval is growing and additive, with the community helping fuel innovation at a really rapid pace. As an outline, incorporating AI technology into music today requires three parts. The first is the architecture of the model or the underlying research. These models can be open source or developed in house, and we at Moises, for example, utilize both for different tools. To speak a bit about the velocity of this research, over 40 research papers on new models were released at the International Society for Music Retrieval Conference in December 2022 alone. Second is the training data for the model. Now, how this training data is sourced and acquired is extremely important, and as we've seen in the news recently. Moises, on the other hand, as an example, directly licenses out all of the stems it has used for audio source separation training. Lastly, is the user experience itself. I use ChatGPT as an example, as it was a new interface on a previously leveraged data set that has had truly profound adoption impacts. Okay, what does this mean? To me, it means that AI-based companies are going to have to invest in their own IP and expertise to differentiate and compete on top of the underlying models. To stay on the leading edge of this research, Moises both co-sponsored the 23rd International Society for Music Information Retrieval Conference I mentioned before with Spotify, and at the end of 22, as well as co-sponsored the Demixing Challenge in 2023 with Sony and Mitsubishi. We believe that with these types of partnerships, the AI tools can, as mentioned above, benefit creators, service providers, and rights holders. As an example, for those who aren't aware, there are services that have acquired licenses for the display of lyrics. These licenses are sourced from publishers. However, the lyrics themselves do not exist for the full breadth of these catalogs. And the music publishers often do not provide lyrics to the lyric service providers themselves. In this case, AI transcription tools could be used to QA the process of notating lyrics, potentially unlocking new value for writers and publishers. Next, what I've done is break down music AI into two buckets: generative AI, which you've probably heard of, and complementary AI, a term that I'm introducing today. At a high level, generative AI is technology that can create new sound recordings from a series of variable prompts. Complementary AI is leveraging technology to provide tools to aid what I would call traditional songwriting or creative processes. Generative AI, in my opinion, is the side of AI that poses a more existential threat to artists and the music ecosystem as a whole. As we are already seeing, new sound recordings made purely by this technology are starting to flood the supply chain. The ramifications of this for both artists and rights holders is quite profound, as it pushes on both volume and value. Complementary AI, on the other hand, focuses on utilizing AI technology to deliver tools to creators that would otherwise have been out of their reach or difficult to utilize. These could include stem separation, tablature generation, lyric transcription, tempo, key changes, etc. That said, could generative AI add value in the same way as complementary AI? Could generative AI, for example, provide a songwriter with a melodic idea that spawns an entire new work? Or helps complete the bridge of a song that has been stuck for months or years? I would suggest that complementary AI, and even with the inclusion of generative idea making, fits into today's supply chain and adds value for services and artists. So, although AI itself is revolutionary for the music industry, Moises' application of AI is designed to be evolutionary. As it stands today, complementary AI is delivering a toolkit that has been in the consumer marketplace for quite some time. That said, its reach and accessibility is now expanding to perhaps previously unthought levels, driving new levels of engagement and adoption. We are democratizing tools that have previously been out of reach to the masses. Moises sits squarely on the complementary side, and it is how we envision the use of the product in the marketplace. Our tools are for our users' personal use and aim to aid their creative processes. This could be, as I mentioned, slowing down a track, isolating or raising the volume of a particular instrument, or displaying the chords to learn guitar fingerings. Our hope is that this new access to technology will inspire the creative process, leading to more musicians, the creation of new music, and increased engagement with music as a whole. In your pocket now is essentially a DAW with a full suite of VST plugins that were previously only accessible by highly skilled audio engineers. For those who aren't aware of these terms, a DAW is a digital audio workstation, which is the platform audio producers and engineers have used for decades to engage with and create new music. Some of these DAWs include Pro Tools, Ableton, Serato, GarageBand, etc. Once a producer or engineer has a DAW, they then can add plugins that bring certain tools for audio manipulation and augmentation into the DAW interface. Plugin functionality today has included compressors, limiters, equalizers, stem separators, transcribers, tuners, etc. Some of these DAWs and plugins are even available today via browser-based applications like BandLab and Soundtrap. These DAWs and plugins require, however, a high level of competency along with, up until recently, the extremely powerful computers to run the processes. What has happened with complementary AI is that this functionality is now available to everyday consumers and casual musicians and fans through the use of a device we all carry with us every single day, our mobile phones. So, what happens when everyday consumers can interact with their own music in these ways? What happens when mobile-focused user experience teams make these features easy to use and engage with? This is what we're learning today. Now, although we've spoken a lot about this technology's reach to the everyday consumer, there's already an existing cohort of professionals that are using these tools as we speak. These professionals, as an example here, include professors at major music conservatives and universities to Grammy Award-winning producers. Now, complementary AI is helping both a new generation of music students and professionals learn to engage with music while also allowing producers to restore, recreate, and produce new content for artists and labels of all sizes. In one example, a producer told me that these tools are allowing him to take audio from rehearsals, taken from his phone's microphone, and make it usable in the final session and mixes for major releases. This has dramatically changed the way he can engage with his clients and deliver their visions of sound and space into their recordings. Another fascinating development at this stage is the sheer volume of new companies entering the music space with new tools and services. In a recent study, Water and Music, which is an amazing publication for all of those who aren't aware of it, identified over 80 music-focused tools that are currently available. In some independent research, I was also able to identify almost 30 that specialize in source separation alone. With open source models as the basis for this technology, I believe that it's safe to say that it has already proliferated throughout the market, and that we should expect even small companies to be pushing the boundaries of its application. I believe that this is a significant change as well from the other evolutions that I have been privy to in my 17 plus years in the music industry. The ability for a small team of even 5 people or less to catch up and pass and push its competitors is quite novel and surely changes the technology landscape. The pressure these companies will create will be real. The technology has proliferated, but I do believe that with the right approach, these can be additive to the ecosystem rather than disruptive and unmanaged. So, how do companies in AI technology become additive? How can we create and support added value for artists, producers, service providers, creators, and consumers? I would suggest that it's by providing access to the technology both in a light, codeless manner and to be flexible enough to sit in differing parts of the supply chain so as not to burden a particular segment with its adoption and management. It's by having complementary AI technology be made available by a service that is thoughtfully thinking through its adoption and impact on artists, rights holders, and service providers. At Moises, we're aiming to do both. Through our developer portal, partners can build codeless workflows to manage their content in unique and proprietary ways. Additionally, we have designed the technology so that it can be implemented and scale at the service provider side as well if desired. This means increased functionality could be delivered to users at potentially new increased price points. My personal goal at Moises is to strike partnership that leverage the current supply chain and bring increased value to and revenue to artists, rights holders, and services alike, and to ensure that the music industry is part of Moises' process and approach. So, where does it leave us? First, I truly believe that if we as an industry approach AI technology as evolutionary and not revolutionary, we can be additive and impactful to our existing supply chain and drive increased value and revenue to both artists and services. Second, and perhaps most aspirational, I believe that this wave of technology has the power to level the playing field in regards to interactivity with music and other media types. Mobile devices and tablets are by nature much better suited for games and video experiences than music. Music, in regards to cultural relevance, seems to be fading a bit. My hope, and it is a hope as a musician myself, is that we can capture the attention of new users by letting them interact with music in ways that only a select few have to date. Third, I believe that the expectation for increased interactivity will only continue to grow. The proliferation of these technologies happens so quickly and so abruptly that we should view the new engagement as an opportunity. Lastly, with the sheer number of services entering the space, I believe early key industry partnerships can set the tone for how best to implement this technology in the best ways. I believe we have the chance to set the stage for proper adoption. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time to join me in this presentation. I would also like to thank the entire team at Music Biz one last time for their help and willingness to host such a great event. Henry, you were fantastic. I additionally would like to apologize again for not being able to deliver this live. However, I do hope that the information to be proved informative and helpful. If anyone would like to contact me as well, please feel free to email me at matt.henninger@moises.ai. They're on the bottom of the slide. Or I'm available on LinkedIn and other channels as well. Thanks again. And I look forward to seeing hopefully all of you or some of you in Nashville in May. Thanks again.